Hello!
Hey there!
Welcome to Mythic Books After Dark,
AKA Mythic Bad.
I'm Becky.
I'm Kasey.
If you're new here, so are we.
Here we talk about books, cryptids, spooky things, and video games.
Today we're talking about H.D. Carlton's Duet, Haunting Adeline, and Hunting Adeline.
If you don't want any spoilers, you should probably back out now. It's gonna be full of them.
The old house, in the sunroom, in the back. I think I would live back there.
I definitely would live back there. And the porch overlooking the bay or the ocean, whichever one it is.
There's cliffs out there.
Yeah, she almost fell off one.
She was just staring, and the guy that was fixing up the house thought she was going to jump. Mm-hmm. She didn't think about it till he said something, and then she was like, well, but I won't live at the bottom.
She got a little too close to that edge.
I wouldn't, I don't know, I'm scared of heights. I probably wouldn't have jumped up there.
So one thing that kept me going through the whole book was the Gigi murder mystery.
And the pages.
I
was reading those on my Kindle and on the Paperwhite, and it was black and white, and I had the margins set real wide.
Yeah.
So I couldn't see it. Uh-huh. So every time I got to a page of Gigi's journal, I had to change my settings so I could read it.
That was at the beginning of every chapter, wasn't
it?
With her signature kiss. Her signature lipstick.
Signature red lipstick. I wonder what that looked like, though, for real. Like the red lipstick, for real, what shade?
Probably blood red. Rose red.
Rose red?
Same color as Zade's roses.
Zade's freaking beautiful flowers. That was one thing he did in the beginning and didn't do at the end just because of the whole trauma thing was the thorns, cutting the thorns off. Yep. And then, I don't know, that scene popped in my head and she was rolling it between her fingers, the thorn, and letting it cut her hand.
Yeah. She likes a little pain, don't she?
I do not.
Especially towards the second book in the second book, she was getting into some weird stuff.
I was a little bit disappointed that she didn't elaborate on the demon or whatever spirit was in the attic, other than Gigi and her grandmother, Serafina. She saw them walking around in there, but the evil thing that followed her, since it was Frank's watch. I think it was Frank.
It probably was Frank, because they didn't really go into detail, and that was something that interested me, because demons, I want to know more. Yeah. But they didn't really elaborate on it, but I think you thinking it might be Frank would make some sense.
It didn't mention him at all in the second. It kind of mentioned that she could hear the ghosts in her house, but didn't elaborate or go any further about whether she saw Gigi or Serafina or Frank. It was just mainly only in the first book.
Yeah, which been nice to have that consistency, but second book was totally different pace.
It actually scared the frick out of me when I read it, and it was freaking Sydney's eye. I thought that there was a ghost in the wall.
I thought there was too. From the first book had me, it's ghost.
Sydney's freaking eyeball sticking out.
She should have stabbed it.
That's what I was thinking that.
I see an eyeball staring at me through somewhere. It's getting poked.
Sydney's freaking eyeball.
Yeah. Sydney, freaking in general, was not a fan.
How weird was that was Sibby's sister?
I couldn't believe it, and maybe in Satan's Affair, she might be in it, if it goes into what happened with Sibby and how she got to where she was, if the cult set in, if it'll, elaborate on that anymore.
So she said that she was writing Sibby's duet, but I don't think that it's going to go backward. I think it's only forward with Craven.
Oh.
But I don't know.
There's going to be a second one for kind of Sibby's story?
Well, Sibby's going to have two separate ones.
Oh.
And then
not
Satan's
counting
Affair
Satan's Oh, okay.
I do want to read Satan's Affair, though, because I do want to know about, the henchmen and stuff. I just haven't read it yet. It's probably...
Yeah.
It's a novella. It's kind of short.
Yeah, kind of like Where's Molly?
Yeah. I did like Where's Molly. I mean, how awesome would it be to do that?
Live on a pig farm.
And feed people to pigs.
I mean I'd be cool with that part.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about... I wouldn't be able to cut them up and pull out their teeth or nothing.
No.
I would
maybe
just
if you knew. If you knew what they did and... Yeah, it angered you, and even in death, I'm gonna mess you up.
I don't know.
Might make it easier to pull out their teeth and shave their head and
cut them up. I just think blood. I'm squeamish.
Yeah, at least it wouldn't be I don't know. I feel like when you're already dead, your blood doesn't flow the same as when you're alive. But don't quote me on that. I've never cut up dead bodies or pulled anyone's teeth out or shaved their head. Definitely never done that.
I don't know anything about bodies, but what if it's like pudding? What if it gets
real thick and syrupy almost?
When it's clotted. you know those blood cakes from other countries? Like, they make the blood cakes and it looks like...
Yeah, or the
like,
blood
is that
sausage.
what it looks like in there?
I don't know.
Or do you have to cook them?
You might have to cook them. Get a nice little crisp on them, on that outer layer of
I
flesh.
guess then the pigs would be happy.
They probably would. That's what we do to pigs when we have a pig roast, so it's just be, they're finally getting theirs a little bit.
What about the mirror maze? The whole situation with the mirror maze, that, like, he kept her from getting kidnapped and then chased her into the mirror maze.
Yeah, and got to see what he was doing to her from every angle.
The way that it described, he's like holding her up by her legs, that like, sounds painful.
Against the... she apparently she likes pain.
I don't think my legs would stay attached.
I'd be like, you gotta put me down for a second. We gotta change this up.
I think my legs would be like one of those, what is it, Mr. Potato.
Pop them off.
If you can even.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in a little mirror house because I want to see all that from every angle. See his booty hole in them dang
Oh
no. Just staring at her.
There was an inconsistency that I thought of, though. I don't know how. Maybe I'll have to read it again and figure it out. But when Addie's in the cafe and Zayd comes in with Mark, and Mark kind of later, Mark kind of made it sound like that there was already a bounty on Addie.
Yeah.
But then later they said Zayd said it didn't have anything to do with Addie, or like something like that. It was just mixed up, and I got confused.
Yeah, like I didn't pick up on that
because he was like talking. He was pretending to be a pedo with Mark in the place, and he sees her taking a picture of her, and he says delete that, and then he goes in later on his phone and deletes it, but he had already sent it. And then they said something about that she was already a bounty, but didn't say why.
Yeah, they did say. And before she even met Zayd and came into contact with him, then they make it sound like she was kind of on their list before all that. Like, so that would have happened, whether Zayd was in the picture or not.
Right. He said, what did he say? It's nothing personal. Didn't know she was your girl. And then, but then they, Claire did know that she was with Zayd, like, later, because she came with Zayd. Because the whole thing was to set Zayd up in the first place. And then she came with Zayd to their party. And then, but that was after. So she was already on the list before that.
Yeah.
So that's why, and they didn't know that they were together then. So that's why I was a little bit confused about that.
Yeah. Did they just pick her out from his past with Gigi, and they're like, oh, she's got a beautiful granddaughter.
Yeah, she looks like Gigi, looks like Serafina, because Mark used to hang out with Serafina.
Yeah.
They look the same, similar, I don't know.
They grew up together until all that stuff went down.
Why wouldn't they have also put a bounty on Addie's mom when Addie's mom was young? Because she grew up in that house, too.
That's true. Unless it wasn't really, they weren't established then. They just waited till they were old and wrinkly to be, weird. Pervy.
Ugh. I think that their death was fitting in the book.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have that
Sibby
as one of my best moments was murdering Mark and the others.
The one dude in the beginning, what was his name? The one that cut his hands off? Oh, my gosh.
Arch. But yeah, that's right, Arch.
Like, don't call me Archie.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what we call you.
He got what he deserved for sure.
It was like there was a bloated body still sitting there when he was doing to him, like a bloated body in there.
And the audacity of these dudes sitting in his little torture chair to still be total pricks and to talk all bad like they're gonna do something when they're strapped up in his freaking chair. I'd shut up. I'd be like, okay, what do you want to know?
Right? I would give you all the info.
Ego.
But he cut off his giblets and put them in his mouth.
That shut him up.
That's a nice gag.
Literally.
Oh my gosh. Hunting 2 months later.
Yeah.
Like,
that gets everybody.
Gosh.
That got me. I was just like, oh. And then she is a totally just defeated person after that 2 months and compliant. And it was just sad to see.
Even after she was trained to fight a little bit, she still saw that guy, the one that was supposed to buy her, I forget his name, the one that cut her and stuff.
Yeah.
And she still froze up, even though she had all this, like, training and stuff. She still saw him and froze up.
I mean, they'll do it to you, I'm sure.
That's a good thing they got that door unlocked.
She got through it.
Before she even was kidnapped, Rio and her, like, getting her head smashed in, I thought that, like, her leaving the hair that she pulled out in the van was going to go somewhere.
Yeah,
but he never even went in the van. But I guess he didn't need to because he knew she was there. He saw it on the camera.
Yeah.
And the concussion and the crazy freaking doctor.
That took me out of left field. I was not expecting him to just be like, I'm gonna keep you for myself. Up into his little apartment with cameras in every room, doing weird stuff.
You freaking watching it later. What a nasty, nasty man. I don't remember the doctor's name either. But I'm glad that Zayd let Rio go. I feel like...
Yeah, I was hoping for that because I liked Rio. I mean, he could only do so much in there. And I mean, of course, he's the one that freaking made her wreck and dragged her out, like, over the glass and all that. But he redeemed himself.
He was a prisoner, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Freaking Francesca.
Yep.
Nasty bag.
Francie there.
And they were using his sister as leverage.
Yeah, I'm glad that, Addie was able to pass on her name and get her out there and into his compound.
I think Rio should be able to have a spot there too, because it's not like he did what he had to because he was told to, not because he wanted to. Because they were using his sister.
And he, that was all he had pretty much was his sister and all she had. And
I mean, even they weren't killing her. They were threatening to kill her, but they were still abusing her while she was there, and the threat of her death was what they were like.
Yeah. He
didn't do something they wanted once, and they took her eye.
Yeah. Yep.
But they didn't hurt him, because he's Francesca's favorite.
Yeah, her little pet.
But that's one of the reasons why he never touched any of the girls, because he wasn't like that, like the rest of them.
Nope, because it was happening to him. Just he had a little more freedom, and didn't he help other girls there too?
Molly. He helped Molly get out.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought he did help. Did he help bury the one after the culling?
I can't remember if he did.
But those girls that didn't pass, and they just took them in the basement and tortured them to death. Like
Xavier was the guy that was supposed to buy her. Just popped in my head. Xavier.
He really didn't like it in his freaking shot in the culling that they did at her house and her property. She's like,
nope,
I'm far away from the road, so you can run all you want, but you ain't getting away.
Nope. And they had people stationed, I think, along the road, so they could only go so far. They were dying that night, whether he really believed it or not and thought he had a chance. No, he didn't. He never did.
Then Francesca couldn't handle it. She was freaking crying.
Yeah, I know.
You put everybody else through this and you're gonna sit here and cry? Frick. Then Sibby, throwing the pieces around.
Yep, just slinging it around. She was a whole mood.
Darn her, now I gotta go find them all. I was just thinking, wildfire.
Yeah. Yep. But I almost, the part that I was waiting for was Zayd to find her in Hunting Adeline, and I almost cried.
I did.
I was so happy because all that time had passed. He never stopped looking for her. Then she was hiding in the train and didn't know who was climbing on there. And it was sad to see that moment and happiness, and then what came after between them and her having to heal from that. But he was patient. He was patient through all that, and that made me love him a little more.
I think that was when he first found her and he got down in there. She had no problem with running into his arms, and then after she got out and she was safe and all the shock hit her.
Yep, pushed him away. Started some fights with him, trying to push him away, but it took him a little while before he was kind of over that whole thing. But they got together, and she became a badass.
Her mom started coming around a lot more often too.
Yeah, her mom. It's a whole nother
weird dynamic.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. They get along, but they don't.
Yeah,
they get along until she mentions her occupation or where she lives, because she loves that house, but I think her mom knows that there's ghosts in there, and that's probably why she doesn't like the house.
Yeah, and she kind of just wants probably Addie to get away from that energy and the cycle of things that happen there. And
I think her mom does like Zayd, though. I know she said he was cute.
Yeah,
but her dad hates him. I think they hate each other. Which her dad is a piece of work anyway.
He definitely earns any hate that Zayd has towards him because, they would never been put in that situation, but they got out of it.
Right.
They got out of it, and they took her someplace.
He was more worried because he was a lawyer that what Zayd was doing was illegal, even though they were literally being tracked down by a group of pedos.
Yeah. There ain't nothing more illegal than that.
Yeah.
But they got high figures in their little circle. So they pretty much had everybody in their back pocket. Claire did.
Yeah.
She was like the puppet master the whole time. In the first book, feel bad for Claire. She's just a victim in all this too. And then the second book is just bam.
She's a witch.
She is an awful human being. Just see that money, money, money. I like what happened to her in the end though. Mm-hmm. She got hers. She got her just due.
Come in there all smug wearing her freaking white outfit like nothing was gonna happen, and then showed you. I wonder if they fed her body to the pigs. I don't know, but that would have been, I mean, if there was anything left.
Yeah, that would have been just straight up poetic justice right there.
If there was anything left. I know they said something about pieces flying over because like they were all on top of it.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they think that was fishy? Like, why are they trying to sit us all right here?
Yeah.
But no. Okay, boom. And the stain is gone.
Forever. Addie, what she has to deal with in the second book was just rough. I actually like the second book more, just for the more action and all that, but that was rough seeing her kind of self-sabotage, like her relationship. Daddy Zayd hung in there.
Her favorite ice cream. I love mint chip ice cream.
That was a cute moment. Just a straight up going to get some ice cream.
Just normal.
With a straight up killer.
Well, she's a killer now too.
Yeah, she is now.
Not on purpose. Dang it, Sydney. If Sydney had just, I'm sure Zayd would have put her somewhere like Sibby. You know, Zayd was looking for Sibby until he found her.
Too far gone.
And helped her escape, like Sibby.
And she really had issues. She really just wanted to stay in the house for forever.
That was her new normal.
I was just surprised that Francesca and them just didn't get rid of her, since she was such a liability and obviously sucking at everything that they're doing on purpose to be able to stay.
I think she got used to being there because she was in that cult, which she might have been being abused in that cult. And then, I don't know why this was blackmail for them. If you don't let me stay here, I'm going to tell the buyers that you let the other guys sleep with the girls or whatever. But it's like guys that are buying come and do the same thing. Yeah. How was that blackmail? That was a little bit confusing. Unless I missed something. I don't know. And the freaking shoe business. With the shoving the freaking shoe up there. I'm glad she shoved that down her throat when they did the culling.
Yep. I was very happy when Sydney was no more. And Addie even felt bad for that.
I know.
Even pretty much protecting herself, and still Sydney just getting her in trouble and abused from that trouble. And I wouldn't have felt bad about doing what I had to do.
It's like she knew she had to do it in the first place, though, because if she didn't do it, then she was going to die in there, or she was going to get Sibby was going to purposefully get her caught, because she was reading that journal she found. She knew when she was going to try, and she knew she was keeping track of the guards' rotation and all that. Mm-hmm. Then she had to kill the guy downstairs.
Yeah, the guy that kind of woke up. Mm-hmm. Then, thankfully, Rio shows up.
He's like, here's, get this, save my sister, and I'll just let you out right now. You know, if you knew that it was Zayd's girlfriend, why didn't you do that in the beginning, though, I think. I mean, I know he's terrified, because he probably didn't think that there was any way out, because they kind of conditioned him, too. Because what was he there for, like, 15 years or something?
He was kind of groomed, too.
Yeah.
Just like them.
That's why I feel like he should be in one of those compounds, too. Yeah. And, like, safe. Because it really wasn't his fault.
Yeah, and
I mean, that happens in real life.
Yeah.
You know, people try to lure you in. It's just because they were groomed.
Yep. Well, hopefully he's in a better place wherever he is. Maybe he'll try to see his sister one day. I don't know how that worked if she decides to stay in the compound, because it's really cool they're free to live a normal life and leave if they want.
Didn't he say that he set money aside for them if they wanted to go to college too?
Yeah, I think they did.
So they don't have to stay. They can just live and then go to college, and they have a place if they come back.
Dang, I want to go to Zayd's compound.
I don't know if I want to go through what it takes to qualify.
No. I think they notice if I just snuck in? I
don't know.
There wouldn't be no sneaking in around top freaking hackers and guards. So they'll see you on the camera.
Did he say that there was a compound for the males too? Like they kept them separate though? I don't know. Did they mention having any of the male victims anywhere?
I'm trying to remember. When Addie first gets there and the kids come running up. I'm trying to think if there were any boys in there.
It might have been young boys that
maybe.
There were no adult men, because that would probably be too triggering for the women.
Oh yeah.
But like,
there's men guards and like around the area.
But he said that they did have to let him know before he got there though, because he's a man. But I just wonder if, I don't know, because men get trafficked and stuff too.
In the books a lot of the victims were young boys, but especially when they were doing sacrifices.
Oh yeah.
I think the ones in the video was a little boy, I think
the one in the video that he mentioned in the beginning, that his friend that doesn't usually go out on missions had to come. That guy, I forget his name, but he...
Yeah, the one that paints his nails.
Yeah, he watched it.
Does a lot of the visual stuff.
I cannot believe they sacrificed or killed a child just to make a trap. With that's the sad part about the complex, too, is all the kids that came up. Those are little people. They're kids.
And if it's bad enough, but kids, they don't understand. All you have to tell them is, if you don't behave, we're gonna go after your family or your loved ones, and kids just...
Isn't that what they told the little girl? What was her name? Sarah?
The one that wanted Zayd to adopt her?
Yeah.
Be your daddy.
They told somebody that, and they mentioned it in there, and then he couldn't find her parents, so she was at the compound.
Oh, yeah. That's right, because she got introduced to Addie. The gun scene.
Oh.
So the whole time I'm picturing just a regular Glock or something with no silencer on it. I hope it had a silencer on it. That
would be a little bit catchy.
Stuck. Because without the silencer, there's a lot of sights on there and ridges, which ridges might be ribbed for her pleasure. Yeah, I just hope it had a silencer on, because I assume it did, because usually when he goes in blasting, he has a silencer on, but that would make a little more sense. That would be like, okay, I can maybe see that.
It might go in a little easier.
Yeah, smoother, not so much points and sights and ridges. Hopefully he didn't have a flashlight on the end.
She said he put it in her mouth first and she could taste the burnt powder. So was it the silencer? Oh no.
I mean, it's got to travel through there, so I guess it'd still have the residue on there. But just think she just like put her tongue in the hole of it.
Think the safety was on?
Depending on what he was carrying, sometimes they don't have safety. Glocks don't have safety.
What if he accidentally shot her in the hoo-ha? End of story.
The end. It'd be done. I don't know if she could survive that. Definitely if it went off when it was in her mouth.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have. I don't know how when it was other places.
Like the angle?
Yeah, it's all about the angle.
You're either paralyzed or your guts are gone.
Your guts, brain, everything. That part, I didn't know about that part.
They're definitely using that on me if there ain't no safety.
Yeah, I mean, just from my experience with guns of all type, reading that whole scene, like, just, that can't feel good. But then I didn't think that the silencer was on it. So hopefully there's a silencer on it. I hope for her. But then again, she also got it with a knife, didn't she?
The handle.
The handle.
That was a little bit too much for me, I think. The handle. Like, because he was holding the handle.
And it was cutting him.
Right. But then when they went through all over the scars, it could make them his or whatever.
Yeah.
What about the healing time? They did all this other stuff after that, and his hand wasn't just healed.
Yeah, that's true.
and then all the cuts on her, like, it's not just healed. And it's supposed to be, like, real world, and I feel like
and if she's like me and a scab picker, like, she was still healing. Yeah. I would have yanked them suckers off whenever they scabbed up.
I would not want to slice. I don't know how people do that. In books, movies, whatever, they just take the knife and slice it right on down their hand. Like,
no, not me. And then, I'm no sissy, but...
I am.
But I don't want to be cut over old cut. But I've never been in that situation. But I still would be like, nah, if anything, slap a tattoo over it. Might be a little wonky from the scars, but...
That's what they did on her arm with the barcode.
With her barcode.
And she got Molly's name in there.
Yep. And to think, some people thought it was cool to get barcode tattoos. Never again will I look at them the same way. No. I'm not property. No. I cannot be purchased. Nope. But apparently, according to her captors, that's what they all were just property. They didn't like when it was reversed, though. Especially Francesca. She cried like a little baby. Yeah. And when they were in the hotel, were her and her brother getting freaky in the hotel? I don't know. Because didn't it say when she was walking to the door she heard moans? I don't know. I don't know if I'm like misremembering. Oh, not in the hotel. Yeah, it was her and the brother. Because I remember I was like, what are they doing in there? There was an instance where she said that Francesca had taken the punishment for her, and I don't know if that meant what Rocco would have done. That's true, because it didn't say she showed up with a black eye, I don't think. That one surprised me. Yeah. Everything else, what's incest? Ugh. It's a little incest among friends, I guess. I might be misremembering that, but I just remember because I was like, what's going on in that hotel room? Then it was just those two. Unless he was watching Corn. Maybe. Oh, and she's in there with it? Oh, good lord. Yeah, not for that, unless she just was like tuning them out. Had some headphones in. Ugh. Some AirPods. I couldn't be tuning them out, trying not to look. Oh, and isn't he gross. Like fat too? Yeah, he's just the way he's described is and just sweaty and sticky and gross. Didn't Adeline say that he smelled like he didn't wash? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Freaking shower. They get all this money. There is a shower in there. I don't know why I couldn't take one. Get all this money for when they're selling off these girls. They got prepaid for Adeline. Yeah. The house is a total crap hole. They could have fixed it up on the inside. Yeah, they could have fixed it up a little bit. Yeah, on the inside. On the outside, still leave it all dingy and unsuspecting. Mm-hmm. But then they'd have to close down their operation long enough to fix stuff. They got all these guys in here, but they can't do anything because they're all high. Yeah, all high, drunk. He was still half asleep when she jammed that. Mm-hmm. Was it a knife or was it a pen? Wasn't it a pen? I thought she stuck the pen into Sydney. Oh, maybe it was the pen into Sydney. Because I don't know, she kept dropping her freaking, like, the water kept coming out the bag. I would have tucked them suckers down in my pants or something. And then after I got outside, didn't move stuff around. They ain't making no sound. Them guys ain't gonna wake up and start trying to get me. See you later, man. Yeah, I mean, like, we got nothing but paper bags downstairs. She should have grabbed a paper bag. Knowing my luck, it would have just ripped right on through the bottom of that. That's true. Or the handle would have come off. That it happens when I'm carrying in the groceries. But she got out of there. It wasn't easy. And made a difference. Yeah, and she made a difference. I guess after the events of this kind of blends in with the events of Where's Molly, too. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, if you have not read Where's Molly, make sure that you read the extended epilogue at the end. Yeah, it's worth it. It's my favorite part of the whole book, and it was at the end. Besides, I'd love to live on a pig farm in the middle of nowhere. That sounds nice. It does. Maybe not so much pigs. I'm not a big fan of pigs. I don't mind pigs. I've just said they're one of those animals I've never been fond of, like monkeys. I don't like monkeys either. I don't really like monkeys. They throw their poop. Pigs don't throw poop, but they do sleep. And just when you get attacked by monkeys, they go for some very sensitive parts. They go for the nose, the eyes, fingers, everything. So. Maybe she should get baboons and put them in there too. Yeah, well, they would tear them up. If she gets any live folks, just give them to the baboons. Oh. I heard baboons were mean. They are mean. Just primates in general, the larger ones. Gorillas, orangutans. Put a kangaroo in there. Oh yeah. Some things are swole. That's all I got. Okay. Bye.